Hello and thanks for joining me for this video here around Dragon's Trail for Daily Race C. This is a race from Monday night and the lobbies I was in were just absolutely ridiculous. You can see there we've got Zavasic on pole, Wheeling who was top 10 at the time, Velasco, Key, we've got Arias behind me, Basic Ollie, JM Bria, Arthur M, Oscar and Consta who are ridiculously fast, and Consta and Coque Lopez who are literally World Tour drivers. So it was an unbelievable lobby to be in. Had about 3 or 4 of these races and this was the most eventful of them, I would say. Really trying to work on my racecraft for Race C because I'm not the best with tyre management at the moment, so trying to learn that a little bit. And this is one of the earlier races, so not the best in here, but I'm doing my best to improve on that. So we're going to start on the mediums, because if you're not right at the front, then mediums definitely seems to be the better way forward. Doing 4 to 5 laps on those and then switching onto the softs. If you're starting right at the front, then they're doing 7 laps on the softs and then pitting. So let's see how we go as we see that lobby line up one more time here. A lot of very fast drivers, and I was pretty pleased with my time at this point, and to be starting down in 10th initially I thought was crazy until I saw the names that were around me and realised I was in top split, and made for some interesting racing. So really just going to be trying to hold my own here and manage the tyres. So that's saying that's not my strongest point at the moment, so going to work on trying to keep the steering smooth and not going into any silly slides. And we've obviously got 12 times through the death chicane to survive as well, so here we go as we're off to a start, and we're going to be chasing down S-Nova here in front of us. A little bit of a wiggle to try and warm the tyres up, and I do feel like in the Supra, this first turn off the start I was seemed to have quite a lot of pace and be able to gain a couple of tenths on people, so gaining right up on them here and managing to pull a tiny bit more of a gap between myself and Rory who's behind. And this curb was absolutely deadly and will continue to be all week as well. If the death chicane almost is the least of your worries, catching that curb a little bit wrong will end your race, and has done a couple of times for me over last night and tonight. And also coming up through the S's here, I find on the mediums when it's full of fuel you get this just a little bit wrong and you can be off into the sand here on the right hand side, so I need to be careful here and just bide my time. As you see, we've pulled a little bit of a gap out between myself and Rory in 11th thanks to the slipstream, and I think he's having to defend quite a bit from the Dutch driver behind him in 12th. And we're coming round for the first time through the death chicane, managing to hold our own so far. There we go, nice and wide here. Do just graze the wall there, and already first 2 victims have been claimed, so lap 1, 2 people down and a third even who managed to get out, still limping along, but VQS Anderson there losing a lot of time, although he's a very quick driver, so I'm fully expecting him to come straight back at me now. It does seem to be that a lot of the really fast drivers like Consta and Coque, they just use these lobbies now to start from the back and work their way through the pack, which is amazing to watch and to be a part of, because it is just incredible the pace these guys have got. The race after this, I had a couple of laps trying to stick with Coque, and he actually got taken out by another driver and was completely off the track in the barrier, got reset, was nearly 2 seconds behind me, and then still managed to catch me before the end of the race. His tyres must have been absolutely shot from that, and the pace the guy's got is still just ridiculous. Speaking of which, it didn't take long for Anderson to get past us there, so he's now come through and going to be just trying to hang on to the slipstream here. I don't know whether he was maybe on the soft tyre, because he absolutely roared past me, but then I'm also not the fastest at this stage in the evening. I'm still getting used to being on the medium tyres with the fuel load as well. As we have Taku here making a clean move around the outside. I didn't push the brake in zone maybe as much as I could there, and he's able just to come straight past again. Wasn't really sure whether he's on the softs because he did brake a lot later than me, or if I'm just not very good and need to get better, but does graze the wall through there, and that's going to let us come back and attempt another move, but he defends the inside. Can we get a move done around the outside here? We're going to brake as close to the curb as I feel comfortable. got to give him some room and not turn in too much, and he is going to hold the inside line there. And we've now got J.M. Brea behind us, who's I think a World Tour finalist, or certainly a driver capable of being that far in. Also starting from the back with no qualifying time. Decides to just bump the Finn along a little bit there, because I think if I start defending and fighting, then it's definitely going to let J.M. Brea through here. Although it's only a matter of time, really, I think, before he's going to find his way past us. But managed to hold him for the corner there at least. Once more, safely over the curb, braking on the line of the crane, but not getting the brake in right there. I think he just held down on the brake a little bit too much and didn't let the car rotate in. But he hadn't quite got clean enough line to pass, although we are now in danger of losing the slipstream to the driver in front, which is definitely going to leave us as easy prey for a driver of the Spaniard's calibre. So I decided to let him past here. I think there's no point in me fighting him through the death chicane, and if I can hold on to his slip and get some fast laps in behind, then that's probably going to be better for my race overall than fighting, wearing my tyres out, and ultimately having more of a detrimental effect on my end result. So going to see how long we can hold with him here, and the answer is not very long by the looks of that. Straight away he's through the death chicane far quicker than me, and just make a silly mistake there and clip the wall, so immediately dropping out of the slipstream, which I'm really disappointed with, to be honest with you. If I could have helped with that pack, I would have been really pleased. But coming around to the end of lap 3 now, and already J.M. Brea is going to go in now. The tyre management for me, if you pit on lap 3, is just way too soon. There's no way that I can handle the tyres towards the end, but some drivers were making that work. Really, lap 4 is still even a little bit early for me. Lap 5 would be ideal, but depending on what's going on with traffic and racing situations, I have been coming in at lap 4 if I need to. I'm just going to skip forward here a little bit and get to a point where the next bit of action is happening. So the rest of that lap was pretty uneventful, but as we join here just out of a third of the way through lap 5, coming towards the end of sector 1, don't know quite what happened there, but ERT Toxic, I think, just maybe caught a bit too much of that curb on the exits of that corner and has fallen into the shadow realm, so he managed to keep going but dropped substantially back and has left us still in some clean air here. Going to be pitting at the end of lap 5. It's definitely where I feel most comfortable coming into the pits and changing over. So let's see, can we make it cleanly here through the death chicane to get into our pit entry. Taku seems to really have quite a bit of pace on us here. He's been hovering 1 to 1.5 seconds ahead, but definitely not gaining any time on him. I saw the yellow flags there and wondered if there might be a shadowed car, but it's actually Fento here who has unfortunately obviously clipped the wall pretty hard. It's not ended his race, but dropped him right back. So going to see if he comes into the pits here, or is he going to stay out. It'd be nice to have the slipstream with somebody when we come out, and he is going to go into the pits. So we're going to go in for the soft tyres. Obviously soft tyres, no refueling. Don't know what everyone else's feelings are about it at the moment, but it never seems to be a thing, the fuel strategy in Race C anymore, which I think is a bit disappointing. They should probably bring the fuel strategy in a little bit. Be curious to hear anyone's thoughts if you're watching this and got an opinion. But I used to like races where you had to manage the fuel a little bit, use the fuel maps or short shift. I thought it was a good challenge, but they seem to have done away with that these days, I guess maybe in lieu of developing the new Gran Turismo. As we see there, Coque Lopez come flying alongside. Didn't want to defend that too hard, obviously coming out of the pits on cold tyres and the pace that he's carrying. So we're going to see how long can we hang with Coque Lopez. Really fantastic driver. The other race I mentioned where he got taken out and then came back at me, he's so much quicker than you, but he's still very respectful in terms of the space that he gives, and doesn't send any silly moves. Really separates him, I think, from as a World Tour driver from some of the other really quick guys that you see on here who there's a couple of people who seem to think it's just their right to come past you because they're quick and they'll get it done by any means, but certainly not the case with Coque. So we've still got his slipstream here as we come down, and he's going to have a real battle here with Fento. We're just going to try and hang on for as long as we can, so let's see how that goes. see Coque's got a slightly better exit than Fento there. He's got the momentum to send the move up the inside and cleanly passed through into the last turn. And it's going to be a battle now for us to see if we can hang with him here, and how long can we stay in the slipstream and keep this going. Obviously at the moment down in 14th, but there's going to be a lot of pit stops to happen, so I think that's going to bring us back up the order a little. And Coque hasn't got any slipstream, so Fento's going to make the move. Now think about following Fento up the inside here, but I just really didn't want to be the guy that took Coque Lopez out. That would not be a good thing to have on your resume, so just stick behind him in the end. Fento's going to get the move done, so fair play. Getting the overtake done there and not cracking under the pressure. As Coque gets really loose over the curb there, but somehow manages to hold on to that. God knows how he did. Now I'm just going to leave you here for a moment to watch the race in here for a little bit and see how this unfolds, and we'll pick it back up in a moment. So here we come for our 7th time through the death chicane and the yellow flag. Not an unfamiliar sight. We've lost another driver. Unfortunately there is fully shadow realmed himself, and we've got a bit of a run on Coque, so going to go to look for the move but don't quite get there in time. He covers the inside. Going to brake early and come for the cutback, but just gets too good of an exit there, and still got some slipstream from Fento, so don't think we're going to have the momentum here to make a move, but still going to have a look. Although he does cover the inside, so we're just going to tuck in behind him, and don't really want to send a wild move up the inside. He does move to the inside to defend as well, so again just going to tuck in behind and try and do our best to look after these tyres. So far not going too badly. We're only showing some very, very slight signs of wear on the softs, and have done sort of 2.5 laps on them now, so it's pretty pleased with this so far, but it just takes one or two incidents of a bit too much sliding, and you really can knacker your fronts, or the rear left seems very sensitive on this track as well. You put a lot of load on it through some of the low speed corners that you're launching out of, like at the bottom of the hill coming up and the final turn, so we are just falling behind you a little bit. And fair play to Fento, he's absolutely battling toe to toe with Coque here, really giving him a hard time, but just there Coque manages to get the switch back up the inside, and got no choice but to let someone through. They really do not want to be going side by side through the death chicane here, but he's still all over the back of Coque here, putting all kinds of pressure on him. Unfortunately do just catch the barrier on the way in there, and it's going to drop them off into the front a little bit. So we are going to skip ahead here as these two just pull off for the time being, and we'll pick it up when the action starts up again in a moment. So skipping forward here to the end of the penultimate lap, and unfortunately not a lot happened over the last couple of laps. Fento and Coque just gradually pulled away, having the slipstream of each other meant that just wasn't quite able to stay in it, and I've just been lapping on my own. We see the yellow flag there ahead, and believe it or not, it's actually Zavasic who has fallen prey to the death chicane. It's the only time I saw it all night. He was absolutely flying through there like he was immortal otherwise, but I'm now especially jealous of Fento because he's managed to, rightfully so from his driving, keep up with Coque, and is now racing with Coque and Zavasic, two of the fastest people probably in EMEA quite easily. And then we're coming around for the last lap now. Now 2.3 seconds behind and 4.5 seconds to the driver behind me. You really would think that this is just going to be a lap where nothing happens and you're on your own, but you never know. There's 3 drivers battling like crazy up ahead, and there's always the prospect of somebody getting sent off, so always really important to maintain positive outlook and keep the best laps that you can going, although I'm really starting to feel the softs dying off now. We do hook that corner up nicely using that curve on the right hand side to get a good angle. Now we're coming for the last time through the S's here. Those 3 absolutely battling with each other. Zavicic has managed to stay in front of Fento, but Coque's got the better of both of them and is holding the train up at the front. As you see them all going for moves on each other there, is Coque going to hold on to it? Yes, he does. Zavicic also looking for moves, but having to defend from Fento as well. And Zavicic just there does manage to nudge ahead of Coque. They're literally going for moves on each other, coming in towards the death chicane, which is just absolutely mad. But obviously drivers of their quality are able to hold it off. But whatever happened ahead there, Coque does get squeezed into the barrier a little bit, it looks. So all of a sudden I think I'm going to be in with a chance from having been 2.5 seconds back, but just not quite there, you know, without sending a crazy move on him and just sending Coque off. We're not able to get up the inside, unfortunately, but really great race racing with these guys. So I had 2 or 3 of these through the course of the evening, and great experience to be racing alongside such drivers. You see there Conster and Jambria ended up in 3rd and 4th, who started at the back, which is just crazy. Key obviously holding his space, and a really great race from Fento there. I've never raced with him before, but it seems like a very, very quick driver. So hope you guys and girls enjoyed that. Good luck in your races for the rest of the week, and there is a track guide up if you want to see some pointers to get a better qualifying lap. The rest of my races I've been doing in the FT1 since, and I do think it's a bit more of a stable car, so we're trying to get some good races through the week with that, and hopefully see you for another video soon. Please do drop a like if you've made it to the end, and consider subscribing, and good luck in your races.